No, doesn't matter. Our next guest has been voice acting for over 20 years. She's even been in some of the previous generations of My Little Pony. Little girls know her as Barbie, but we know her as Starlight Glimmer. Everyone, please welcome Sheridan! Take a seat.
Oh, sure. On the throne.
Not quite what you had in mind, Starlight, but it's close.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to Florida.
Thank you for having me. It's awesome to be here.
Yes, your hotel is very lovely.
It's gorgeous. I'm having a great time.
Now, as I stated earlier, you've actually been in multiple generations of My Little Pony, from G2 to the dreaded G3, sorry, and even
Sorry.
and now G4. What was the voice acting process like back in those previous generations?
Well, I mean, I was a kid when I started, so that was a long time ago. It was much the same as it is now in terms of process. Although I would say the current show, there's a bit more of a spirit of being able to improvise and being able to kind of play around with stuff in the room. I don't think the comedy and the dialogue was as much of a priority for those earlier ones, because they were really focused on just being a kid's show. I'm sure you could tell this, from the style of show that they were. And obviously this show was intended to be just a kid's show when they first made it, but now, you know, we've proven them wrong. It is a kid's show, but it's more than just a kid's show.
Yeah, I grew up with two sisters, so the originals were always playing in the house, and when this generation took off, I actually went back and saw some of the older ones, and yeah, the characters are rather hollow.
Well, definitely, you know, this current incarnation, things go dark. There's adult references. It's the kind of thing you can watch with kids, and they won't necessarily pick up on certain things. But so yeah, that wasn't obviously a focus in the earlier shows. They want everything to be sweet and nice and pretty and happy. And that's just the way it was. And it was fine. It served its purpose for what it was at the time.
Now, as I also stated, you've also been the voice of Barbie in many of her movies.
I have?
Yes. Yeah. Well, what was it like trying to figure out a voice for her, because she isn't really known for it?
Yeah, that was the first, other than Toy Story and Barbie and the Rockers toy that they had in the 80s, I think. That's the first time Barbie had a voice. So it was a really, really big deal for Mattel. And they did lots of searching for cast. And so I know that just based on the script and based on the notes that I was given before I auditioned, I knew that I wanted her to sound smart, and that I wanted her to sound like a real person. And that's kind of what I went in for. And I read it was Barbie and the Nutcracker, so I read the scene where she's talking to Kelly, her little sister, who's discouraged by not being able to perform this ballet routine that she's rehearsed. And I tried to deliver that monologue as if I was talking to a real kid. And I guess that rang true, because I got the job. And it's something that they always repeated when we were recording any Barbie movie, was kind, clever, and brave. They always wanted her to be kind, clever, and brave. That was really important to them. So she's pretty and she likes to dress up and all that stuff, but she's responsible for getting herself out of her own scrapes, and so yeah, I don't know.
Now, what was your initial thoughts when you were reading for the character of Starlight Glimmer? Because that episode had a lot of people stunned about its theme.
Well, when I auditioned for Starlight, I didn't know what the plot of the episode was going to be. They gave me one little page of dialogue, and it was the scene where she's talking to Twilight after they've spent the night in the shack that she's thrown them all into. She's trying to see if she's changed her ways, or if she's changed her mind and wants to join the herd. So that's all I had to go off of. So I knew she was up to something, and I knew that she was hiding something, but that's all I knew when I auditioned. I didn't even know she sang. That's the other thing. So when I read the episode, and the character description, they wanted her to sound like a cross between Dolores Umbridge and the drink the Kool-Aid guy, the cult leader, Jim Jones. Yeah. So they wanted her to sound like a cross between those two people.
Ooh. So you knew that the character was opposite.
Yeah, I was like, there's something going on here. Yeah, but then of course when I read the episode, it's like, oh, this is exciting. Wait a minute, what show is this?
All right, let's go ahead and open the floor here now for you guys here. If you got any questions, raise your hand, let me know. I'll come up to you guys. All right, we're going to start with you. You're here first.
Hi.
Hi.
It's interesting that you said you designed, your direction was to cross Star Black with Dolores Umbridge and a cult leader.
Yeah.
Now that she's sort of she's almost the seventh member of the cast now. So having her shift from this villain, this character to hero in training thing now, how was that sort of developed like you?
Well, that's a good question. How did, in terms of how do we negotiate that shift?
Yeah, like sort of the mental.
Yeah, well, it was definitely deliberate. When we got to the end of the final episode of season 5, when she's reformed, beginning her reformation anyway, the director said, okay, we actually want her to sound different now. And I think if you're listening, you can hear that there's a difference even in voice quality. So they wanted her to sound a bit younger and a bit more like a teenager from this point forward. And I like to think of it as the Starlight we see in season 5 is a character that she's putting on because she thinks that's who she has to be. So I don't think that's her real voice. And I think once she's had this change of heart, I think that's who she really is. So that's kind of how I justified it to myself. Because I think she does actually sound quite different. Sometimes it's a subtle different, and sometimes it's just emotional, but I do place her a little bit higher in my register, but she's also a bit more technically on voice and kind of grounded, whereas in season 5, it's kind of head voicey. It's all up here in this. It's not real, And so I think that's a character that she's playing. So that's how I justified it as an actor.
Hello, Joshua. Starlight is Best Pony?
Pardon me?
Starlight is Best Pony?
Is that a question? Because I agree.
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I kind of have 2 questions. My first question is, how is it working with Casper? Is it kind of... Yeah, it's kind of different from working with them before, or is it kind of exactly the same?
Oh, when I did earlier incarnations of My Little Pony? Well, the thing is we don't really work with Hasbro that much. They employ DHX to produce their shows, so all of the people I work with on the creative side aren't necessarily direct employees of Hasbro. We get there's very little meddling from the company itself. On our end, I'm sure there's lots of influence they have on the development side. But they're great. There's a lot of freedom we get on the show, so it's nice. I can't complain. I have fun. Yeah.
All right. You've seen both Starlight glimmers, her in season 5 and season 6, how they change.
Yeah.
Which hairstyle you
Oh, the hairstyle question. It's contentious, isn't it? I think they both serve the character in terms of who she is. I like the new modern style. I think that's pretty fun. Although, bangs, I never had a problem with bangs. They're pretty rad too. It's hard to choose. I did both.
Hi.
Hi.
Kelly, I'm going to bring this back to Inuyasha a little bit.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's where I first discovered you. And you played my favorite girl ever.
Sango.
Do you miss playing her?
I do. I really miss playing Sango. So yes, I played Sango on Inuyasha.
Woo! No spoilers, please. I'm still watching.
Okay, no, I won't give anything away. Yeah, that's one of my favorite roles that I ever played. She's so great. She's strong and funny and vulnerable, and I have a little brother, so her relationship with Kohaku was always something that really resonated with me. He didn't quite have the same plot in his life as Kohaku did, thank goodness. He's doing great. Yeah. And I had a cat that looked kind of like Gala.
Oh.
I don't know, that was a special role for me. And I played her for over 10 years.
Wow.
Because the series just went on and on and on and on, and we did all the movies and everything. So, yeah, I do miss it. I miss playing her.
My question, do people sometimes refer to you as Kami Pony, just kind of offhandedly?
As what pony?
As Kami
Oh,
Pony?
commie pony? Oh, yeah. Or Marxist pony, or, yeah.
Marxist.
What's that? Cutie Marxist. How do I feel about it?
Yeah, how do you feel about it?
I feel that that's very accurate. I feel that they've been paying attention. Yeah, that episode's not necessarily subtle in terms of political underpinnings, but yeah.
What's it like being like a voice actor as Starlight and like for MLB?
It's amazing. I mean, it's a great show, and it's incredible to be part of the fandom. And playing Starlight is fun. She's challenging. I get to do a lot with the character. I mean, rarely do you get to play that kind of wide range of emotion that I've been able to play with her. And there's stuff coming up that's exciting. So it's fun.
All right.
It's a lot of fun to play her.
Hi, I'm Gustavo.
Hi.
Number 2 fan. Number 1, that's Sarah Strong. I'm just saying. I've been looking for videos that relate to something, and because I saw some people relate to Starlight Glimmer from Bray Wyatt. Well, do you know WWE, right? Yeah, because he's like a leader and kind of scary guy. Well, that's from the. Well, I think of it.
So they
as-
make comparisons between her and, I'm sorry, I didn't catch what you said.
From her, the comparison between Bray Wyatt and CM Punk.
The wrestlers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I saw that.
Awesome.
Because they made because CM Punk is kind of a leader, the revolution of it.
Right.
Because when I saw this episode, it kind of feels like the equality revolution.
Oh, interesting.
What do you compare most to, Bray Wyatt or CM Punk?
I am not familiar at all with either of those two people.
I have pictures of that.
Oh.
One's a good guy, one's a bad guy, essentially.
Well, it depends what season we're talking about, I
In
guess.
season 5,
In season 5, well, probably the bad guy, whoever the bad guy is.
Bray Wyatt.
I guess I need to brush up on my wrestling. They're both wrestlers?
They're both wrestlers, yeah.
I learned something today.
Wrestling episode confirmed. So like,
Right, it's canon now. Coming in season 20.
Hello, this
Hi.
is Kelly. It's an honor to see you. My name's
Thank
Cooper.
you. Hi.
Big fan of the show. Been a fan since 2013. But recently there was an episode that was like a Christmas Carol type one. Does anyone know the name? What was it called?
Heartswarming tale.
Thank you. That's probably my favorite episode of season 6. I want to hear from you. What was it like voicing Starlight and doing the song numbers for that episode? Was it a lot of fun or was it challenging?
It was all of the above. It was really fun to get to play Bad again, so that was really fun. And by that point, I felt like I kind of had that down for her, so the actual recording of the episode was pretty easy breezy. The songs, on the other hand, I was really nervous. I'm not a confident singer. I don't think of myself as a singer, especially compared to some of the people on the show, like Ashley Ball, Kazumi Evans, Shan Kent. They're all trained, incredible professional singers. So when Daniel told me, hey, we're doing a musical episode and you're singing 3 songs in it, and one of them's a huge solo, it's just you. I was like, ah! So I practiced, especially Say Goodbye to the Holiday. I practiced that a lot, and I take singing lessons, so I brought it to my singing teacher, and we practiced a bunch. And it was really challenging, the session itself. It's, you know, I relied heavily on Daniel Ingram, who's the musical director for the show, and our engineer, who's also great. An engineer really makes a good engineer makes a huge difference when you're, well, doing anything in the booth, but especially when you're singing. So, yeah, but I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of how it turned out, because I felt like I tried my best, and it paid off. And that's one of my favorite episodes, too, that I think I've ever done, just because I worked so hard on it.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you recall, would you share what your reference line was for your season 5 voice?
My reference line?
To get back
Oh,
to
to
the
get
character?
into it? Well, I tried a bunch of different things, but usually if I just started with like a, well, or something, that usually would get me there. Yeah, that's a good voice actor trick, to have a reference line, leapfrog you into it. I felt like at that point she was so in there that, yeah.
I have 2 questions. The first one is, do you think Sheridan will appear in the new MLP movie, or you can't tell us that?
I don't typically talk about things that haven't been released, so I can't say.
Okay. And also, can you do that line from the second episode of season 5 where she just like screams quiet?
Yes.
Everybody-
Oh, yeah! Angrily.
Wait, I have to be interrupted though, Justin, will you do the honors?
Yes.
It's like, we all have special gifts, and when we share them,
Quiet!
Hi, my name is Emily. From all of your experience of being Starlight, or any of her experiences in My Little Pony, is it relatable to yours?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. Well, we've all had friends in our lives, or people in our lives who we part for one reason or another. And that's always hard, and it's hard not to go to a place of sort of bitterness and darkness when that happens. And that's also just a good lesson, that sometimes you lose people in life, and sometimes they come back to you and sometimes they don't. So definitely I could relate to that. I didn't enslave an entire village when that happened to me, but, you know, we all have our ways of handling things. And I also really relate to, I mean, Starlight's an amazing, she's amazing at magic. That is her forte, right?
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't need any lessons in how to cast spells and be brilliant at magic. But where she struggles is relating to people. And I think she often relies, like her go-to is fix it with a spell, you know, or like, what can we do to just like, can I just do the same thing I've always done before, and not go to the kind of challenging place of actually having to work through something personally with some pony. So I can relate to that as well. Like when you're good at something, it's nice to be able to feel like you can just rely on that and not try something new and challenging. So
That kind of reminds me of No Second Prices. They started Glimmer just took all the plates in it with magic, and man, when Tar and Sparkles mean is you had to do it by teeth, by hoof, or anything.
right, yeah,
She made that cake.
Yeah, the cake thing.
yeah.
all right.
Hi. Do you usually end up as part of the fandom of things you voice act for?
This time I did. I've seen every single episode. It depends if it's good. Sometimes, I mean, as an actor, you take any job you're given, or I do anyway. And so sometimes you do stuff that's like, okay, that's what that was, and that means that I pay my gas bill for the month. And then sometimes, a lot of the time, I'm lucky enough to be part of things that are really great and magical, because let's face it, most cartoons are kind of great and magical,
Yeah.
so it's pretty fun to be. I try to watch at least a little bit of all the stuff I've done just to see how it's turned out. But this one, I was like, well, when I was studying up on the show, when I was auditioning for the show, I thought, well, I'll watch a couple episodes just to get the style of the show, the tone of the show. Well, I'll just watch a few more just so that okay, a few more. And then 4 seasons later, done. But, yeah. this time I did.
Hi, I'm Joey. So my question is, given the relationship of the characters, how is your relationship to Tara Strong?
I've never met her.
What? C'est moi?
I've never met her. The majority of the voice actors on the show live in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and that's where we record the show. Tara lives in Los Angeles, and I've never had the chance to meet her and work with her. I know, bummer, right? She's amazing. As a fan, she's fantastic. I think she's incredible. So I'd love to work with her, but that's my relationship with her, probably similar to what you guys have. I follow her stuff on Twitter, and they're like, oh, your dogs are cute. Yeah.
Okay. The first one's a request. You said that you're like singing or you're nervous about singing. Well, could you sing the barbecue song?
Could I sing the barbecue song?
Barbie.
Oh, the Barbie song.
In the voice.
Barbecue.
You guys have to join in. I just told you I'm a shy singer. Maybe you sing up here.
You don't have to sing if you don't want to.
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. You know, when in doubt, I just say meow, meow, meow when I don't know the lyrics. Meow, 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 meow.
And then my next question is, have you heard of the Brony band before you started voicing anything?
I had,
And
yeah.
then what was it like to find notable to get involved in it? Could you answer both?
Well, I had heard of the fandom. I mean, I came into the show so late, and it's a small community in Vancouver. All the voiceover actors know each other, and I auditioned for the main six when they were first casting the show, and I've auditioned for almost every female character on the show, and finally got something year 5, which is what it's like being an actor. You audition, and someday it pays off. So yeah, so I've heard stories from all the people who were on the show about their experience with you guys and going to conventions and how awesome it was, and that was just more incentive to want to get on the show, to be able to be a part of that.
Sure.
What was the second part of your question?
And then how has that perception changed as you are now part of the
To be honest, it hasn't changed much because I've interacted with all of you so much on social media before even kind of meeting anybody in person. And I have to say, this is what I tell everybody, it's kind of the least trolly fandom I've ever been a part of. Like, everyone's so nice. Everyone's so nice and friendly. You're a very generous community. And I was kind of expecting that going in. And I guess if anything, maybe those expectations have been exceeded. But yeah. You guys are cool. You're all cool.
Thank you.
Hello. I was just curious, you've done a number of voice roles. Has there ever been is there a role that you would personally like to do in the future, some established franchise or anything like that?
Oh yeah, millions. It'd be amazing to do a big Pixar Disney feature, of course. The chances of that happening are very slim. They record all of those in LA, and like I said, I'm in Canada. But something like that would be fun. There are people I would like to work with, probably more than specific projects. Yeah, millions of things. Too many things to list. Anything to do with the Muppets. Yeah.
Swedish chef.
Yeah.
Miss Piggy.
Here's our next guy.
Hello.
Hi.
No, everyone's looking at me. Okay. First, I want to start by saying hello. It's an honor to see you here. I'm a big fan of I'm a fan of Starlight, and
thank you.
And you also play a lot of characters that I actually like, and also I think you're a pretty good singer.
Thanks.
But to my question, forgive me if this is long, or but
You're good.
I just want when you first when I saw when I saw the season 5 premiere episode, and I saw your character, I thought you were probably one of the best villains in the entire show. Just mostly due to the fact that unlike most majority of the villains, you're basically just a regular unicorn, and you were still very powerful and intimidating, and and it still carried on in the season 5 finale, where you were still a major threat that even Twilight couldn't stop, just by magic alone. But the thing that really got me is that when I actually looked up your voice roles, and it showed that you did Barbie, that just threw me in I just had to do a double take, because this pony was also the same voice as Barbie, and it's just what? And it even confused me even more, because in season 6, you're complete opposite of season 5 Starlight. I was just you were just really super nice. So just to make a longer statement short and actually get my question, I just want to ask, what was it like to kind of for these two roles specifically, kind of to play, what is it like to play just kind of a really nice person as Barbie, and to play the intimidating villain as Starlight? What's it like to kind of do such a different roles, I should say?
Well, the majority of my career has been made up playing ingenues, playing the good guy, playing the good teenage princessy female hero. And that's fun. It's super fun. But playing a bad guy is really, really fun. It's really fun. What's that?
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday. Yeah, it's fun playing bad, because I get to indulge in that side of myself that I can't bring out in real life, or I'd be a monster. So it's fun playing the opposite. Well, I mean, I might be tooting my own horn to say I'm just so good that that's not what I mean. I mean it's fun indulging in that kind of evilness, because it's pretend. So yeah, it's great playing the good guy, but it's fun playing the bad guy.
I was going to say, speaking of indulging in that, is when I've never actually heard you in the other cons you've been in. So when you came up on stage today, it was just kind of a little surreal for me that, I mean, you're using your normal voice right now, but it's you sound, not exactly, but very close to Starlight. And it's just
yeah,
that is a little unsettling and so awesome. I was wondering can you give us a really kind of crazy sounding welcome, like even crazier than season 5 Starlight?
Well, I don't know if I could go even crazier. That was pretty crazy, but she would have welcomed you all by saying, "Welcome to our little village. We're so happy to have you here." Yeah, Starlight's not far from, most of the majority of roles I play aren't really far from my natural speaking voice. Versatility is important as a voice actor, and I can do other stuff, but a lot of the roles I get are just just kind of do what you're already doing, but tweak it. You tweak it by putting on attitude or emotion or something. So yeah, she's pretty close to me.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, what's the weirdest fan experience in the convention you go to?
Weirdest.
Like the fan tribe? Stories. Yeah,
It's always weird. The stuff people ask you to sign can be pretty weird.
Right.
There was a dude who wanted me to sign, and I signed it, a giant stuffed salmon. What?
Oh!
Yeah. And I was like, why a salmon? He's like, I don't know, just because. It's okay, there's no backstory, just a giant stuffed salmon, just because.
Snowfall frost, you grab it off the shelf.
Yeah, right. Stuck it in a potion.
All right, we got time for one more, guys.
Sure.
And, well, you're right there, so.
Just one quick question, because...
Is it about wrestling?
No!
Okay.
It's about My Little Pony. Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta know, because there's a fourth movie of Picture Girls coming out.
Yes?
But I wanna know, are there any plans for, well, are there any plans for you gonna be in Equestria Girls 5?
As I mentioned, I don't talk about things that haven't been released, so I guess we'll all have to wait to see together. Yeah.
All right.
All right, everyone's go for Kelly
It's fun to be
Sheridan.
surprised, isn't it?
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Yay.
I'm back tomorrow and the next day. We're going to do 2 more of these. So.
Yay.
Bye.
With your character on it?
Did I what?
Did you see the new comment?
Let's see those happy smiles.